Okay, so I say slope, you think
Derivative.
derivative, yay. Okay, so so you should have your notes out in preparation for this. Okay, you reviewed writing the equation of a line in point slope form. So we've done that, we've touched on that just like maybe 2 or 3 times so far this year. So let me remind you that point slope form is on this anchor chart right here in the front of the room. So if you notice on the graph, we have an orange line that's tangent to the green dot. So the slope of that line is the value of the derivative evaluated at that point at x1, y1. And since slope and derivative are the same thing, if the value of the derivative, we can just find the slope and we know the value of the derivative and vice versa. And so that point slope equation is down there. It's all color coded. Okay, the slope M is orange. Notice the x1 and y1 are blue and red. They go on the right hand side of the equation. Sometimes an alternative way to write it, and this is true for Con. Con does this more so than any other entity, but sometimes you'll see it written as y minus y1 y1 equals M. I don't have an orange pen. I'll find an orange pen. X minus
X1.
X1. Oh, I made Y1 wrong. The wrong color. X1. So let me make Y1 red so that it's color coded the same as the anchor chart. Three things. So this is an alternative. And like I said, I think Con, actually, I didn't even clarify this. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I know College Board doesn't. They like that because they like you write things in the form of equations. I think it's Con that uses that form frequently. So just to clarify that. Pens are rolling all over the place, aren't they? Oh well. Okay, so you learned how to have your calculator automatically graph the tangent line, which is kind of cool. But most of the time they ask you to write the equation of tangent line on the calculator first. But if you can use your calculator, it's kind of a cool way to check. You learned that derivatives values at hills and valleys are 0. So if top of a hill, that tangent line's horizontal. We know something with horizontal slope is 0 slope. Okay, and same with valleys. And that comes in handy, and that we'll be using, actually we're using that a lot once we get into units 4 and 5. Okay, so now I really mean it. I know I said it first for the first unit, but I forgot to change the test. So, but this is really true now. I'm going to ask you to write the equation of a tangent line on every exam I give. Most often just on the no calculator part, but sometimes it shows up on each part, either in a multiple choice or part of a free response or something. So that will always be available to you, that anchor chart. So don't forget that you have that resource there just to get you comfortable with doing that. So any questions? Okay, point slope is always more convenient because you can have any point. Slope intercept with the y equals mx plus b, you have to have the y-intercept. We almost never give you the y-intercept. That's why that becomes less convenient as we get into calculus. Okay, so how is a derivative used? So this is I have to kind of separate into stuff that happened before today and stuff that happens after today. Before today was really procedural. You know, how do you take a limit? How do you do the limit method? How do you find a derivative? It's very procedural. Okay, right now, how do you find a derivative? Well, we've got two ways. Either we're going to be asking for derivative of a constant or derivative of a polynomial. It's going to change tomorrow. We're going to start talking about trig functions. We need different rules then because it's no longer polynomial. But it's very procedural. Kind of today is the day we start sprinkling in what to do with the derivative. So in other words, a derivative, just the procedural thing, we expect you to calculate it, but now we expect you to include it in the right location as you write the equation of a line. So now we're sprinkling in those what we call application questions. And that's today's focus. So the first application of the derivative is going to be getting you comfortable with writing the equation of that tangent line. Okay. There is not a topic question in College Board. It's a circuit right in your notes. Okay. And you can check your own work by using that calculator function if you'd like to. Okay. But you should be, just to recap the lecture video, you should be finding your x and the y coordinate if it's not given to you. Sometimes we only give you the x coordinate. You need to find the y, plug into the function. You need to use your power rule to find the derivative of y prime. You need to plug in the value for x so that we can evaluate y prime and get a number so we can call it slope. The slope is a number. And then we need to write that equation with the tangent. Okay. So you're going to do that on your circuit. The notes for tonight are really short. It's really having you set up your calculator because tomorrow we're doing an inquiry activity. And we're going to be playing around with trig functions. And that way, if you get use your handheld, don't use your iPad calculator, use your handheld, and then be sure to bring it to class. But you're going to set up all the appropriate windows and table and stuff like that so that the inquiry activity goes nice and smooth. And then we also have a quiz Wednesday. So the quiz will cover through day 6. That's today. Okay, so the quiz will cover through day 6. So that means you have to have those cons done to earn your retake. Okay, so for today, we've got that circuit. We've got those con for homework and really super short notes for homework. All right, go ahead and jump into that circuit. And I'll be around to check notes and see if you have any questions.